Geometry of iron and wood, frozen mud where the legion stood. Calibrate the weight of the hollow axe, data burning through the frozen tracks. Splintered shields under pressure test, iron ribs inside a heavy chest. Horizon of dead pines, grey and cold. System failure in the tales they told. Copper taste of foreign blood is thick. Flesh and sinew make the rhythm tick. Cracked knuckles typing out the pain. Physics of the hammer and the rain. No more mercy in the neural path. Binary is written in the wrath. Static rising from the slaughter floor. Counting dead and running up the score. Homes are grinding in the eastern storm. Reprogram the meat to keep it warm. Optic nerve is wiring the sight. Cognitive decay and endless night. The home is rotting in the hidden cell. Feed the marrow to the foreign hell. Blood is data streaming from the wound. Nordic logic buried in the ground. Tendon stretching like a bow on fire. Burning cables in the funeral pyre. Check the calibration of the blade. Price of every single move is paid. Geometry of corpses on the plane. Hardened hardware running in the rain. Input death and output only ash. System reboot in the iron clash. Foreign dirt is under every nail. Physics of the impact never fail. Back at home the betrayal is the code. Heavy burden on the frozen road. No abstraction in the broken truth. Only fractured skeletons are truth. Lungs are pumping oxygen and smoke. Neck is straining in the heavy oak. Spinal column is the primary mast. Future bleeding into every past. Chemical reaction in the vein. Nerves are shorting in the acid rain. Home is software glitching in the dark. Bury every living vital spark. Calculate the distance to the end. Every joint is broken at the bend. Bones are grinding in the eastern storm. Reprogram the meat to keep it warm. Optic nerve is wiring the sight. Cognitive decay in endless night. The home is rotting in the hidden cell. Feed the marrow to the foreign hell. Blood is data streaming from the wound. Nordic logic buried in the ground. Jaw is locking on the iron bit. Every single cell is ticking hit. Skin is leathery and cold to touch. They demanded every part too much. Copper running down the metal sleeve. Lies on patterns that the cowards weave. Betrayal is a parasite and breed. Turning all the glory into stain. Frozen blood and broken pieces spit. Endless fire in the bottom pit. Iron vessel for the war design. Dead pines waiting in the borderline. Skulless housing nothing but the plan. And the cycle where the war began. Access spotting through the local lies. While the distant warrior never dies. Cages for the heavy hate. Final entry at the eastern gate. No, 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 no.
Black feathers on white snow. Ice cracking underfoot.
Biometric signal lost. Calculating total cost. Observation from the height. Valkyrie in digital night. From room, geometry broken by the treachery. Stolen silver ring of old, murdered with the metal cold. Ribcage is the only cage, scripted on the cyber page. Tendon stretching on the strain, calibrating primal pain. Voidal cord is hardwired hate, operating at the gate. Pelvis ground to dust and grit, failure in the binary bit. Marble freezing in the shaft, high resolving bloody craft. Oxygen reduction rate, entering the shattered state. Ancient path and modern code, walking on the iron road. Skeletal resistance low, watching as the days of flow.
Valhalla code is set.
Iron nerve and cobalt net.
Calibrate the raven flight.
Fly from the cliffs to endless night.
Bone and marrow, ghost in shell.
Loads of phase, I sound the bell. This stand echoing, laughter falls. Bound the cyber walls, hollow tree trunks in the mud. Hybrid sulfur to the blood, shattered bowers, broken data. Cleanse the whole geomet raw. Optic nerve is burning bright, scanning through the optic light. Cartilage and hardened steel, grinding on the burning wheel. Arteries are conduit pipes, cleaning up the prototypes. Ligaments and ancient dust, corroded by the modern rust. Scaliverse and circuitry, mastering the entropy. Femur snap and joint control, reading from the argine scroll. Physical corruption bound, 6 feet under frozen ground.
Valhalla code is set.
Iron nerve and cobalt net.
Calibrate the raven flight.
Fly from the cliff to endless night.
Bone and marrow, ghost in shell.
Love the flares, I sound the bell. Scanning field for faulty nerve. Biometric state is cold, more than what the gods foretold. Arteries are pumping lead, counting up the living dead. Knees are buckling underweight, closing down the ancient gate. Rapping voices pure, my jeans dropping at the modern screen. Calcium is turning gray in the dying abonate.
Kingdom data reconfig. Grievous empty, did dig. Crownless metal on the skull.
Competition void your nose.
Valkyrie is watching now.
Walking down the broken vow.
Fight suspending in the game.
Right on the cybernetic veil.
Stolen crossbow, hard war fail.
Driven by the iron hail.
Clandestine operation start.
Ripping up the Valden heart.
Nerve and eggs are fervent fast.
Just to make the anguish last.
Geomet be rid of snow.
Burying the status quo.
Raven wing and cobalt bone.
Sitting on the empty throne.
Valhalla code is set.
Iron nerve and cobalt lead.
Calibrate the raven flight.
Flight from the cliffs to endless night.
Bone and marrow, ghost and shell.
Lords of fears, I sound the bell.
Black feathers on white snow.
Iron will code locks the hull of the ship. North Star is hidden by clouds in the dark. Static noise data ignites every spark. Shifting up bloodless stones, grinds in the hold. Ancient war logic is precise and cold. Calculate vengeance through nerves and the bone. Claiming the geometry built on this throne. And the pros raise the coast. Blood on the axe, who dies the most? Calibrate fury in marrow and rib. Breaking the cage of the ancestral crib. And the pros raise the coast. Sinew and bone. Valhalla's house. Axes are heavy with cold-blooded weight. Systems are pulsing with ancestral hate. Sever the tendons and mapping the skin. Digital darkness is buried within. Shields are the hardware, the phalanx is law. Feeding the hunger of the ravens. Raw maw cut through the ash and the bone and the dust. Iron and carbon is all that we trust. Turn the prows, raise the coast. Blood on the axe, who dies the most? Calibrate fury in marrow and rib, breaking the cage of the ancestral crib. Turn the prows, raise the coast. Sinew and down, Valhalla's host. Teeth till the enamel is gone, waiting for data to break at the dawn. Physical limits defined by the blade. Price for the treason has already been paid. Unyielding program of slaughter and dread, calculating mass of the stacks of the dead. No more campaigns for the gold or the land, only the vengeance we hold in the hand. Raise the coast, blood on the axe, who dies the most? Calibrate fury in marrow and rib, breaking the cage of the ancestral crib. Turn the prows, raise the coast, sinew and bone, Valhalla's host. The socket and splinter the jaw. Savage mechanics of northern war law, bypassing nerve ends to reach for the core. Hard-coded death on the enemy shore. Frozen wasteland in the logic of veins, breaking the links of the civilized chains. Geometry perfected in circles of iron. Prey is surrounded by wolves and the siren. Race wells rise, static in the eyes. Bone and ash, calibrate the crash. Distant thunder and growing rhythm fades. Water stings the eye socket rim. Push the vessel past the ocean brim. Blistered palms grip the splintered wood. Execute the kill as a warlord should. Tendons tighten like a braided cable. Clear the data on the war room table. Ribcage rattles with every stroke. Lungs are burning in the frozen smoke. Freezing sea spray hits the iron plate. Calibrate the vector of the ancient hate. Bones are locking in a fixed alignment. Seal the target in the dark assignment. Grid lines burning in the white horizon. Nerve endings fire like a rising poison. System check the radius of the blade. Calculate the debt that must be paid. Rhythm of the drum in the hollow chest. Put the mercy in the ground to rest. Frost on the mass like a broken screen. Power up the heart of the war machine. Rhythm of the drum in the marrow bone. Claim the triumph on the frozen throne. Geometric fog banks choke the light. Run the program of the endless night.
Is a hard drive leaking gray. Wash the weakness of the flesh away. Cartilage grinding underneath the weight. Lock the prow into the final gate. Vertebrae clicking like a gear in motion. Drifting static on the blackened ocean. Muscle fiber snap underneath the strain. Override the signal of the physical pain. Code is written in the filled red liquid. Architecture of the vengeance wicked. Shoulder sockets burning out of socket. Launch the vessel like a guided rocket.
Cold in the hardware, cold in the wire. Burn the peripheral, light the fire. Cold in the hardware, cold in the wire. Crush the resistance, feed the pyre. Frost-bitten fingers on the leather wrap. Spring the doors of the geometric trap. synapse, firing in a total blast. Break the lock of the bitter past. Kinetic energy in the swinging axe. Read the numbers in the bloody trap. Thorax crushing like a falling wall. Hear the echo of the Valhalla Call. Force the entry through the wooden gate. Liquidate the assets of the state. Iron in the bloodstream flowing fast. Make this breath the absolute last. Rhythm of the drum in the hollow chest. Put the mercy in the ground to rest. Frost on the mask like a broken screen. Power of the heart of the war machine. Rhythm of the drum in the marrow bone. Claim the triumph on the frozen throne. Geometric fog banks choke the light. Run the program of the endless night.
No retreat. Hardware cold. Kill the old.
Footsteps on the shale and bone. Data points mapped in the frozen zone. Drag the keel through the soft sand drift. Watching the tectonic plates as they shift. Suppress the breath in the ribcage wall. Scan the horizon for the day to fall. Heavy iron chain on the shoulder blade. Follow the path that the logic made. Tendons are stretching like a tension cord. Processing death for the coming lord. Scanning the rocks for a biological trace. Systems are locked on the landing place. Ligaments bind to the handle of steel. The earth is a cog in the rotating wheel. No breath is wasted, none. No blood is tasted, none. Calibration is perfect, perfect. The system is active, active. The moon is hidden, hidden. The storm is bidden, bidden. Moon hidden by storms in the dark up high. Vectors of war in the frozen sky. Iron and code in the skeleton frame. Noting the voice and the ancient name. Calcium ribs for the heart strike hit. This is the pit where the phantoms sit. Where the phantoms sit. The shoreline is sloped at a 45. Keep the adrenaline system alive. Nerve endings twitch in the sub-zero spray. Waiting for data of the break of day. Marrow is cold in the tibia core. Scanning the breach on the killing floor. Axe heads are heavy with the physics of force. Stay on the map, the geometrical course. Skull plate is shielding the grey matter grid. Secrets are kept where the ancestors hid. Cartilage grinding in the rhythmic march. Passing beneath the obsidian arch. Hip bones are pivoting smooth and exact. Sealing the terms of the violence compact. Oxygen levels in the lungs are low. Tracking the pulse in the rhythmic flow. Calibration for the infrared to the loss of motion of starting anew. Blood is the coolant for the furnace inside. Nowhere for biological errors to hide. Femorin fibula anchored in grit. Finding the stop with the Jagger rocks fit. Spinal column is a tower of lead. The void is the only thing left to be fed. Heavy iron chain is a shackle while standing in silence. The seconds are still. Monitoring pulses of the enemy guard. Life is a sequence, it is bitter and hard. Calculate angles for the coming fire. Muscles are coiling like a steel spring wire. Kinetic energy stored in the fist. Close in the fog and the chemical mist. Skeletons on with the ancient tool. Granted bends to the raider rule. Never the work is spread for the strike. Nothing is random and nothing is like. Heavy iron chain on the stony ground. All the echoes of every sound. Moon hidden by storms in the dark up high. vectors of war in the frozen sky. Iron and cold in the skeleton frame, nulling the voice in the ancient name. Calcium ribs for the hard strike hit. This is the pit where the phantoms sit. Where the phantoms sit. Hidden by storms, physics of war in the ancient forms. Bone and the wire, cold and the fire, system shut down.
Frozen dark. Ancestral code ignites the spark. I watch the longhouse from the trees. My nerves are cold, my marrow freeze.
Oak table slick with spilled meat stain, liquidated a leak for the brain. He grips the stolen gold on bands, metal clash in his thieving hands. Pour grease dripping from his chin. I map the pores upon his skin. Shadows dance on the canvas wall. I track the geometry of the hall.
My ribs are iron, my teeth are steel.
Calibrate the axe, make the traitor kneel.
I am the code in the ancient bone.
I claim the marrow, I break the throne.
Crush the hardware, cut the line.
Ancient data, rest design. Blind drunken guards with heads on wood, clogged with fat as the system should. I calculate the distance gap, rid of the floor, build the map. Shield walls cracked in the firelight. Infrared ghost in the dead of night. No mercy found in my lung machine. Nothing is sacred, the strike is clear.
Grind, tendon tight, processing vengeance through the night. Physics of iron, weight of lead, scanning the pulse of the living dead. No soul detected, only flesh, caught in the wide geometry mesh. I am the friction, I am the heat, I am the rhythm of the cardiac beat. My ribs are iron, my teeth are steel.
Calibrate the axe, make the traitor kneel.
I am the code in the ancient bone.
I claim the marrow, I break the throne.
Crush the hardware, cut the line.
Ancient data, raft design. Step through the door, no sound made. Light reflection on the iron blade. The traitor laughs in a drunken haze. I analyze the fire blaze. Cold plates, thick, femur strong. Correct the math of the ancient wrong. I reach for the throat, I find the nerve. Deliver the death that the law deserve. X input system crash. Turn his armor into ash. Blood is lubricant, meat is fuel. No more kings, no more rule. I pull the plug, I break the spine. Reclaim the gold, reclaim the line. Geometry finished, the data is clear. I am the only physics of fear.
My ribs are iron, my teeth are steel.
Calibrate the axe, make the traitor kneel.
I am the code in the ancient bone.
I claim the marrow, I break the throne.
Crush the hardware, cut the line.
Ancient data, raft design. Returning to the frozen trees. System rests at 0 degrees.
the timbers meet. Your woven silver shawl draped on a stranger's frame. The biological rhythm of a burning shame. My optic nerves are firing through the narrow slit. I map the geometry where the torch is lit. The structural integrity of home is dead. I count the metal density inside my head. I scan the anatomy of a cold-blooded lie. I see the carbon data in your shifting eye. My ribs are cages for a pump of lead. The binary of violence is the path I tread. There is poison in the chalice that you hold so high. A systematic failure in the northern sky. The physics of betrayal is a heavy weight. I calibrate the fury and I lock the gate. It's in the marrow, it's in the bone. I clean the wreckage of a broken throne. The chemical reaction is a total war. I'm knocking down the sequence of the heavy door. Loyalty oaths are discarded on the floor like rusted iron scraps from a finished war. I track the logistics of the blood in your veins. I'm breaking the links of the psychological chains. My tendons are cables made of braided wire. I feed the data to the funeral pyre. The calibration of your breath is out of sync. I watch the liquid metal as the traitors drink. The spinal cord is stiffening like frozen ground. I process the frequency of the silent sound. My knuckles are pistons and they start to prime. I'm the architect of the end of time. A forgotten carved wooden idol in the mud. It doesn't feel the pressure of the rising flood. The algorithm of the gods is cold and dark. I leave the geometry of a scorched earth mark. My femur is a pillar in the temple of ice. I'm checking the hardware of the sacrifice. The software of the spirit is a human fault. I'm sealing the entrance to the granite vault. I feel the friction where the cartilage grinds. I'm the system reset for the narrow minds. The oxygen is heavy with the scent of pine. I'm reclaiming the sectors that were once all mine. Poison in the chalice that you hold so high. A systematic failure in the northern sky. The physics of betrayal is a heavy weight. I calibrate the fury and I lock the gate. It's in the marrow, it's in the bone. I claim the wreckage of a broken throne. The chemical reaction is a total war. I'm knocking down the sequence of the heavy door. Blood on the snow, I watch the system overthrow. And the nerves are on fire. I am the last live wire. The breach in the heart, I pull the ribs apart. Hydraulic strike. I am the god you don't like. I burst through the timber with the kinetic force. I alter the vector of the narrative course. The jawbone is locking on the target now. I don't need a prayer or a broken vow. My blood is an oil for the cold machine. I'm the crushing engine that you've never seen. The biology of fate is a perfect law. We're ripped through the fabric with the jagger claw. Why measure the torque as the axe descends? This is the point where the geometry ends. No one is leaving the system alive. Only the hardware is built to survive.
Whetstone biting at the fossilized blade. Hardware logic in the deepest of shade. Calcium is heavy in the grip of the hand. Solid state pressure on the waste of the land. Meets silicon to sharpen the edge. Living bone fragments are the only pledge. Scrapping steel on stone is the metric of hate. Calibrated fury for the coming dead weight. Geometry of structure in the arch of the rib feet. Myrrh is the lever in the dark of the crib. Binary precision in the cut of the blade. 5/6 of the shatter where the bodies are laid. Code in the mar on the iron in hand. Steel protocol in the dark are the signals we send, lighting up the nerve where the ligaments bend. Or you'd lead the grips with the friction of flesh, weaving all the cartilage in deadlier mesh. Input is the anger and the output is ash. Calcul, acid vector in the moment of clash. Occipital target where the matter will bite, processing the massacre in flickers of light. Silent knots of death across the emptying glade. Cranium and marrow meet the edge of the blade. Skeletal array is fixed to latitude zero. Nothing but the physics of a killing machine. Calibrating tension in the grip of the palm. Chemical reaction in the center of calm. Geometric violence in the anglers of strike. Feeding all the terror to the head on a spike. Sparks in the dark hit the iron and smoke. Nerves are only wiring under the yoke. Scrapping steel on stone creates the frequency low. Watching all the plasma in the system flow. TBA is snapping under high pressure load. Every broken structure is a break in the code. Or you leave the burning as the knuckles turn white. Hardware for the warrior in the killing at night.
Cold in the mar and the iron in hand. Steel protocol over freezing of sun.
Data of the sign when the geometry try.
Killing is the log ice of the ancestral.
Axe is the hardware of the finally sign.
Breaking every tendon and the curve of the spine.
No soul in the size 10, just the calcium force.
Crushing down the vessel on a merciless course.
Scrapping steel on stone. Calcium and bone. Sparks in the dark. Logic is the mark. Violent is the grip. Let the structure rip. Binary and blood sinking in the mud.
Boots sink deep in the thawing black loam. Iron will locks the calibrated zone. Raised hands signal the geometry of death. Ribs tight and hard on the marrow and the breath. Hounds with bound muzzlers train at the leash. Bone and the tendon crave the coming release. Knees push weight through the slurry and the silt. Blade edge cali brought head straight to the hilt. Perimeter closing on the settlement walls. Cold nerve firing as the data stream calls. The circle, lock the code, break the marrow, heavy load. Drawn bowstrings hum a deadly new freak. Soft tissue failing where the structure is weak. Shield wall geometry fix it on the line. Axes and gloves in the mortal design. Boots sinking deeper in the mud and the grit. Nervous system firing every bit. Noose getting tighter as the distance is shred. Carve the physics of the dying and dead. Meets the iron where the metal is cold. Coded to conquer as the virus takes hold. Skin stretch it tightly over shattered frame. Ancestral fury burns us in the tick flame. Raised hands frozen in the dark of the yard. Locking the target where the sentry is hard. Feet find the friction in the slop and the mire. Calculate vengeance in the heart of the fire. The core is open and the structure is done. The code is written and the battle is won. The core is open and the structure is done. The code is written written and the battle is won. Teeth grind the powder in the jaw of the wolf. Physical laws drain the darkness, engulf. Tendon and ligament shredded to white. Clavicle snapping in the dead of the night. Peering meter closes on the centralized point, severing cartilage at every joint. Boots sinking deep where the loyalists stand, tacking the value of the promise at the land. Knees hit the ground with the wet hollow thud. System is leaking out the biologic blood. Drawn bowstrings release a kinetic discharge, shattering optics of the small and the large. Raise hands dropping as the perimeter breaks, tacking the surface and all of the stakes. Feet slipping back in the gore and the clay, coding the ending of the old motorway. Close the circle, lock the code, break the marrow. Heavy load. The code is open and the structure is done. The code is written and the battle is won. The code is open and the structure is done. The code is written and the battle is won. Slow in the reddening mud. Thump of the heart is a failing of the nerve. As are all silent as the data is cleared, and of the status that was loved and feared. The vector of the final end. No broken physics will allow to bend.
The heavy oak logs wedge against the wood. The geometry of death is understood. Iron spikes pierce through the ashen pine, calibrating terror on a perfect line. Splintering timber shouts a jagged code. Overload the portal where the victims roll. Driving metal fast into the center grain, locking down the data on the common pain.
I'm at the entry with the
Cold design, system failure on the blood red line. No escape velocity within these walls. Static noises rising as the hammer falls.
Heave the beam and set the static weight.
Seal the buffer on the house of hate. Square the angles, tighten every seam. Terminate the logic of the failing dream.
Close, locked in cold, block the sin.
Sledgehammer impact on the hollow frame,
Writing out the physics of a dying name. Heavy, hold the weight steady.
seal the fate. Listen to the marrow turning into ice.
Pay the final entry of the market price.
Trap breath is vibrating within the chest. Lungs are compressing in the final test. Feel the synapse fire in the optic nerve, calculating impacts that they all deserve. Ribs are creaking like the beams above. No more fables of a phantom love. Only calibrated tension in the joint. Pressure building at the focal point. Ligaments are stretching until they snap. I have closed the sequence of the iron trap, scanning every shadow for a leak of light. Total system darkness in the coming night.
Port and tendon shivering against the floor.
I am the circuit breaker at the heavy door. Zero output from the crying mouth. Compass spinning fixed upon the frozen cells.
Closed, locked in cold,
Block the same sledgehammer impact on the hollow frame.
writing out the physics of a dying game. Heavy, hold the weight steady.
Seal the fate. Listen to the marrow turning into ice.
Pay the final entry of the market price. the edge and the bits. Total extinction when the fire is lit. No hope in the hardware, no flight in the skull. Voice of the judge in a thunderous lull. Blood in the system, the valve is decay. Glory to iron, the debt has been paid.
Locks stay heavy, spikes stay deep. No more rhythms left to keep. Flesh and marrow bound in ash. Final system total crash.
One final heavy hammer blow. Dark matter leaking from the clay. Iron will to end the day. Cold geometry of the hall, waiting for the blackened fall. The spine of the timbered beast, I bring no mercy to the drunken feast. The thatch is brittle like ancient ribs. I empty the blackness from the clay cribs. Silent steps on the weathered peak. I find the junction where the timbers leak. The clay is heavy against my chest. I put the geometry to the test. My fingers trace the dry straw vein. I calculate the angle of the pain. The architecture is mapped in code. I lay the liquid on the hidden road. Thick black resin dripping down, dripping down. Smell of pine tar on the crown, on the crown. Weight of the accelerant flows in the night. Black tar hiding from the light. Architecture of bone and beam, captured in a viscous stream. Calibration of the clay jug tilt, mapping out the river of the guilt. The data of the poor is running smooth. Nothing left to comfort or to soothe. I coat the nerves of the braided rope. I smother every fiber of their hope. The tendons of the roof are soaked in black. There is no turning from the said attack. I measure the viscosity of the death. I hold the rhythm of my steady breath. The thermal logic is locked in place. I erase the features of the wooden face. The marrow of the ash is getting wet. The final variables are met. It seeps to the marrow of the central post. I calculate the system at the most. The physics of the liquid is divine, mapping out the geometry of the pine. I trace the revs and the intercostal space. I spill the darkness at a steady pace. The hall is breathing through a tar-filled lung. The death is tasting on a viscous tongue. I synth the pour to the beat of the pulse. The data of the ruin will convulse. Every joint is calibrated true. I leave the blackness as the final clue. The bones of the hall are turning cold. The code of the resin is taking hold. The data of gravity pulls the weight. I am the input for their fate. The geometry of death is set. The system is drowning in the net. Black resin dripping down, dripping down. Smell of pine tar on the crown, on the crown. Weight of the accelerant flows in the night. Black tar hiding from the light. Architecture of bone and beam, captured in a viscous stream. I step from the edge of the blackened thatch. I hold the geometry to the match. No more feelings, only thermal laws. No more mercy in the killer's claws. calibration complete. Execution imminent. Iron grip on the frozen edge.
Steel bit on the
Granite ledge.
steel bit on the
Granite ledge.
hardware clash on the
Cold stone.
calcium grind in the hollow bone.
Calcium grind in the hollow bone.
Cold steel teeth against the stone. Calcium dust inside the bone. Binary click in the frozen dark. Algorithm of the coming spark. Friction heat in the tendon wire. Geometry of the rising pyre. Data stream in the pitch and pine. Voltage spike on the spine line. Scrape of flint on the hardened palm. Digital death in the ancient calm. Ribcage cracking to the beat. System failure in the sudden heat. Metal shavings on the soap dash. Binary code for the perfect match. Knees to the earth in the mud and ash. Waiting on the sudden blinding flash.
Sudden blinding flash.
System crash, system crash.
Sudden blinding flash.
Bone and ash, bone and ash. White light burns through the optic nerve. Physics law that we all deserve.
Sudden blinding flash.
Binary burn in the lightning dash. The hiss of the first flame starts. Hardware tearing in the broken parts. Resin boils in the timber vein. Calibration of the common pain. Tendon snap in the rising smoke. Carbon fiber in the blackened oak. Smell of burning hair in the gale. Iron input on the coffin nail. Ligaments coil in the thermal surge. Biological and synthetic merge. Vertebrae lock in the rising glare. Static load in the freezing air. Oxygen dead in the open lung. Ancient hymn in a metal tongue. Prophecy stored in the bone cell. Geometry of a frozen hell.
Pitch black crates on the roof beam. Voltage leak in the conscious stream. Femur breaks in the thermal weight. Logic gate for the hand of faith. Axe blade cold in the charred fist. Physics written in the bloody mist. Bait to dump in the marrow deep. Promises that the shadows keep. Scalps can shrinks on the skull plate. Calibration of the ending state. Nerve and fire in the red glow. Algorithm that the ravens know. Shield wall breaks in a bit rate. Hardware horror at the iron gate. Muscle fiber turns to carbon dust in the geometry. Can fire we trust. Sudden blinding flash.
System crash, system crash.
Sudden blinding flash.
Bone and ash, bone and ash. White light burns through the optic nerve. Physics law that we all deserve.
Sudden blinding flash.
Binary burn in the lightning dash. Calibration complete. Bones turning to heat. Nerves on fire, nerves on fire. High tensile wire, tensile wire. Radius solar burn to the core. Data leak on the killing floor. Physics of a Boston set in stone. Architecture of the burning throne. Zero and one in the marrow flow. Nowhere left for the top to go. Nowhere left for the breath to stay. Hardware melting in the ground. Pictures bubbling on the edge. Sacrifice on the granite pledge. Jawbone shadows in the heat wave. Codings grabbed in the open grave. Connective tissue notes of rage. The laws of gravity repay. Capillaries burst in the high heat. Marching to the mimitin beat. Skull is springing with the iron sound. As the embers hit the frozen ground. Thoracic cavity fills with gas. Waiting for the moment to pass. Circuitry fried in the ancient skull. Void with a system used to be null. Tonal erasure of the flesh. Not caught in the geometry trap.
Sudden blinding flash.
System crash. System crash.
Sudden blinding flash.
Bone and ash, bone and ash. White light burns through the optic nerve. Physics law that we all deserve.
Sudden blinding flash.
Binary burn in the lightning dash. Da, 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 da.
Sudden blinding flash. Cold iron will in the marrow of old. Blood in the circuit, the story's told. Terminal code in the ash and the dust. Our armor is holding the calibrated rust. I input the torch to the dry thatch root. Boots crush the snow in a heavy pursuit. Blistering wood warps the optical lens, burning the nerves of my former friends. The lattice of timber begins to decay. Hardware is melting in acidic gray. I track the thermal vectors of smoke. Lungs in the darkness begin to choke. Exodermic reaction of treachery past. This binary vengeance is built now to last. Oxygen starved in the synaptic grid. Burn the data packet where the cowards hid. I read the geometry etched on the floor. Locked from the outside the heavy iron door. Synapses fire as the temperature climbs, paying the debt for their systemic crimes. Roaring heat, vortex consumes the hull. Watch the geometry of the empire fall. Hammer strikes hard on the ribs of the brave. Fire is the only connection they crave. Shadows dancing wildly on the white snow. Blood is the data in a low-level flow. Bone and the marrow, the tendon and nerve, getting the output they richly deserve. Collapsing patches of structural flaw. Iron is heavy in my calcified claws. Screams muffled by thick walls under the ice. Pay the algorithm of the traitorous price. I calculate physics of falling debris. There is no exit and no way to flee. Heat is the format, the server is down. Ash is the only legitimate crown. Carbonized vertebrae turn into glass. Watching molecular intervals pass. I stand at the threshold, a living machine. Cold as the vessels with nothing between. Tibia shatters in thermal distress. Input the trauma and output the less. Radiant energy mapping the skin. Ending the cycle of Wyson of sin. Roaring heat, vortex consumes the hull. Watch the geometry of the empire fall. Hammer strikes hard on the ribs of the brave. Fire is the only connection they crave. Shadows dancing wildly on the white snow. Blood is the data in the low-level flow. Bone and the marrow, the tendon and nerve, getting the output they richly deserve. Smoke in the lungs, tendons are snapping like cables of wire. Purge the corrupted within the fire. Calibration of agony reaches the peak. Silence the mouths of the false and the weak. Vertebrae melt in the chemical glow. Nowhere to hide and there's nowhere to go. I am the process of running the end. Not a protector and never a friend. Total erasure of physical form. I am the center and I am the storm. Sister and food in the ash and the mud. Analyzing ratios of traitorous blood. I am the hardware and I am the blade. Look at the massive destruction I made. Kinetic impact, the rafters come down. Bury the traitors under the town. Burst the shock circuit and burning it all. Facing the shadows inside of the hall. Ocular senses recording the white. Flames of the only remain in white. Terminal status, the vitals the zero. Nobody left to play, gotta play hero. I am the logic, the law and the force. Saving the brutal and violent course. Roaring heat, vortex consumes the hull. Watch the geometry of the empire fall. The empire fall. Hammer strikes hard on the ribs of the brave. Fire is the only connection they crave. Shadows dancing wildly on the white snow. Blood is the data in the low-level flow. Bone in the marrow, the tendon and nerve, getting the output they richly deserve. I stand in the wasteland alone. Dust in the wind is the only record. Cut the umbilical traitorous cord. Ash in the marrow, cold in the vein. Nothing remains. Nothing remains.
Iron and logic in the frozen glare. calculating arcs in the stagnant air. The windows burn with the flicker blue, inputting data till the points are true. Shattered glass bites at my leather boots, static interference as I prepare to shoot. Scanning the perimeter of the rib cage gauge, calibrating angles for a precise fate. Vector analysis of the sternum plate, neutralizing threats that arrive too late. My fingers tap the riser of the bow, system check completed in the amber glow.
Snap the bow, let me let it fly. Blood on the snow where they come to die. Whistling shafts in the void of night. Shattered glass in the flicker light. No emotionally kinetic force. Follow the map on a lethal course. Ancient wood with a digital sting. Hear the song that the Valkyries sing.
Snapping bow limbs in the smoke and dust. Old world oak and a modern trust. Whistling shafts in the dark void space. Finding the nerves in a faceless face. Coughing targets in the heavy haze. Ending the sequence of their broken days. Splintered wood hits the clavicle bone. Harvesting marrow on the killing zone. Tendon, tensile strength at the breaking point. Severing the link in the shoulder joint. No mercy found in the binary stream. Only the logic of a killing scheme. Physics of the impact pierce the lung. Song of the war on a silver tongue. Thermal scans map the intercostal grid, doing the damage that the tactics bid. From a snap like a dry dead branch. Logic applied in the blood avalanche. Data sets closing as the target falls. Writing the code on the temple walls. Flesh and the fiber and the optic nerve. Every fatality is the one they deserve. Tracking the heat as the vitals decay. Clearing the pathway for the end of day.
Snap the bow limb and let it fly. Blood on the snow where they come to die. Whistling shafts in the void of night. Shattered glass in the flicker light. No emotionally kinetic force. Follow the map on a lethal course. Ancient wood with a digital sting. Hear the song that the Valkyries sing.
I am the sentry, the shattered pain, processing the loss and the lethal gain. Through the burning windows the geometry screams, fracturing the bones of the enemy dreams. My spine is a conduit of frozen steel. Nothing to pity and nothing to feel. Only the tension in the bicep curl, watching the smoke of the end times furl.
Snap the bow limb and let it fly. Blood on the snow where they come to die. Whistling shafts in the void of night. Shattered glass in the flicker light. No emotionally kinetic force. Follow the map on a lethal course. Ancient wood with a digital sting. Hear the song that the Valkyries sing.
Calibration locked. Red snow on the vein of dark. Bone on the threshold, marrow grown cold. System shut down now. Zero sum.
Heavy iron blades crack the frozen dirt, calibrating angles for the maximum hurt. Terror milling from the bloody shirt, executing vengeance on a high alert. Boots planted firm on the dying chest, processing the failed and the broken guests. Geometry of God puts the steel to test. No one escapes for the blackbird nest. Chromosex driving under the ribs. Geometry mapping the burning cribs. Chromosex driving under the ribs. Blood leaking out like the data drips. Running the bone down, running the bone down. Scrammer sacks driving under the ribs. Running the bone down, running the bone down. Scrammer sacks driving under the ribs. Coughing up ash crash on the threshold floor. I am the lock on the burning door, serving the tendons to even the score. Binary code of the ancient war, twisting the hill to the left and right, scanning the geometry of dying light, grinding the marrow in the dead of night. Systematic slaughter in a blinding white. Tremor driving under the ribs, geometry mapping the burning cribs. Tremor driving under the ribs, blood leaking out like the data drips. Running the bone down, running the bone down. Scrammer sacks driving under the ribs. Steel meets the nerve in the killing glare. Bones all vibration in the frozen lair. Calibrating pain beyond all repair. Cutting the circuit of the physical coil, mixing the marrow with the burning oil. Crushing the sternum with the heel of the boot, pulling the hardware up from the root, scrambling the senses in a brutal pursuit. Every escapee is the forbidden fruit, slicing the artery to dump the cash, turning the history to bone and ash. Watching the physics in the muscles clash, execute his finality in one hard slash. Driving under the ribs, geometry mapping the burning cribs. Grammar sacks driving under the ribs, blood leaking out like the data drips. Running the bone dome, fighting the bone dome. Scrammer sacks driving under the ribs. System shut down on the killing floor. Deadbolt sticks on the outer door. Ash in the lungs and blood in the core. Physics of the blade needs nothing more. Nothing more. Nothing more. Nothing more. The end of the code.
Calibration starts the system as heat. Ancient logic for the total defeat. Calibration, calibration, calibration.
Yeah.
Is a data point failing the test. Carbon is filling the cavity chest. Dying cold steel meets the firewall heat. Hating the dog crawls at my furnace feet. Sword is a glitch, drop deep in the dust. Blade is forgotten in blackening rust. You crawling on ash where the geometry ends. Heat mapping pain where the ligament bends. Your ribs are a prison for air turning thin. Black smoke is coating the failure within. I am the friction, I am the law. Grinding the marrow inside of your jaw.
Flesh into data, bone into ash. Feel the physical system begin to crash.
System override, the usurper is done. History erased by the heat of the sun. Gold armbands melting on tendon and skin. Liquid hot currency paying for sin. Metalist merging with radius bone. This is the climax of the burning zone. You choke on the carbon, you gag on the soot. I target the nerve endings under your foot. Calibration of terror, geometry flaw. I snap the logic of your crumbling phalanx claw. No heroic myth, no ballet to sing. Just the physics of a dead, broken king. Your anatomy screams as the heat levels rise. I read the corrosion inside of your eyes. Desperate fingernails tearing the stone. Geometry locking, you are alone.
Scratch the wall.
Your tendons are snapping, your system is slow. choking the core, crawling like vermin on ash-covered floor. That gold is a stain, the iron is dead. Flames are the only words in your head. Sine wave of the get me nerves on the rack. There is no recovery, there is no back. I liquefy marrow, I scavenge the will until your anatomy is burned and still. Tatter purge, initiate ashes for king. I am the only necessary thing.
Burn, burn, flesh into data, bone into ash. Feel the physical system begin to crash.
System override, the usurper is done. History erased by the heat of the sun.
Burn, burn,
Calibration, calibration.
Terminating signal. Bone density 0. Carbon record complete. Calibration finished. Ashen floor reset.
Iron bolts locking the structural frame. Logic dictates the path of the flame. Heat waves crashing against the pine, recalibrating the bloodline design. Red embers landing on pale white skin. Geometry burning the surface of sin. Skin starts bubbling, tissue and grain. Signal is lost in the wiring of pain. In the data stream, no mercy found in the voltage scream. Break the oath and the nerves will fry under the weight of the iron sky. Bone and ash in the data stream, no mercy found in the voltage scream. Break the oath and the nerves will fry under the weight of the iron sky. Melting jewelry drips on the floor, watching the exit through the burning door. Silk fibers charring, the smell is a threat. System corrupted, a fatal reset. I watch the smoke through the optical lens. Calculated ends for the falsehood of friends. Your tendons are shrinking, the fibers contract, executing the cause of the warrior pact. Are glowing like furnace bars, mapping the heat with the orbital stars. Bone marrow boiling in calcium tubes. Reality shifts into digital cubes. Suffocating waves in the lungs tonight. Calibrating the end in the liquid light. Final look through the smoldering gate. Locked in the cycle of perfected fate. Bone and ash in the data stream. No mercy found in the voltage scream. Break the oath and the nerves will fry under the weight of the iron sky. Bone and ash in the data stream. No mercy found in the voltage scream. Break the oath and the nerves will fry under the weight of the iron sky. Vertebrae cracking like frozen
frozen ice, paying the market of treachery price. Connective tissue unravels to dust, corroding the gears with the acid of rust. Nerves are firing their last report, closing the gates of the burning fort. No forgiveness in the carbon remains, cleaning the cistern, flushing the veins. Skull as a vessel of shimmering heat, recording the pulse of a final beat. Geometry mapping the ruin of flesh, tearing the links of the traitorous mesh. Ashes are falling on shattered stone. I stand at the threshold, silent alone. Oxygen fading, the program is done. Victory ratio 1 to none.
Breath encircling the slope. The earth is a train that you broke. You breath encircling the slope. The earth is a chain that you broke. Fire crackling, long leg. Heavy boots, walking.
System, check the timber frame. Zero out the traitor's name. Geometry of smoke and ash.
Wait for the structural crash.
Of broken pine, calculate the break in the dorsal line. The physics of the roof is a failing code, heavy with the ice of the winter load. Execute the script of the burning beam, sever every nerve and every seam. Ribs up the house of a hollow cage, written in the ink of an ancient rage. Calibration of the iron nails, while the logic of the mortar fails. Hardware brittle in the freezing air, none of the usurpers are aware. Blow the heat to the central joist, the air is thick and the iron is moist. System error and the foundation stone, death is a marrow in the timber bone.
The crushing weight upon the floor, calibrate the wolves of war.
Orange sparks and gaze of light,
Hard cold death into the night. Crushing weight upon the floor, calibrate the wolves of war.
orange sparks and gaze of light.
Hard cold death into the night.
Main pillar splits the marrow deep, the physics of the heavy sweep. A deafening crack of the main pillar, no mercy shown by the structure killer. Vertebrae is bruised, begin to grind, leave the weak and the blind behind. Tendons of rope are snapping fast, the structural integrity cannot last. Data points on the limp and dead, roof is a hammer of molten lead. Syntax error in the lungs below, watch the combustion begin to glow. Synapse firing in the burning thatch, no escaping from the death match. Algorithm of the falling slate, sealing the door with lethal weight.
Crushing weight upon the floor, calibrate the wolves of war.
Orange sparks and gaze of light.
Hard cold death into the night. Crushing weight upon the floor, calibrate the wolves of war.
Orange sparks and gaze of light.
Hard cold death into the night.
Iron melt, fury felt, plexus crushed in the burning dust. Timber shatters as it must. Geometry of the doom is set, caught inside the burning net. Nerves are firing in the rising heat. The structural failure is now complete. Sudden suffocation of the screams underneath the weight of falling beams. Vocal cords are charred and still, obeying the love of the iron will. Ribs collapse into the dirt, nothing remains of the living herd. Data is voided and the tribe is clean, only the bone and the ash are seen. Nervous system of the hull is dead, roof is the blanket of heavy red. Calibration of the final breath, this is the logic of structural death.
dum 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 Great dawn light on the edge of the shield, blackened skulls in the center of the field. Hissing embers in the snow turn to gray, binary laws in the wreckage of the day. Soot on the skin like a carbon black stain, neural path firing in the centers of pain. Vertebrae grinding on a hard metal seat, system shut down in the smell of roasted meat. Calibration of the bone, calibration of the stone. Measure the data in the marrow in the line, geometry of death on the horizontal line. Tear the tendons from the radius and ulna. Systems crash in the gates of Valhalla. Ribs cracked open like a hull in the ice. Physics of the impact paying the price. Ligaments tearing under weight of the mass. Digital static in the shattered eyeglass. Iron in the blood meets the iron in the hand. Logic of the vector in the ash on the land. Teeth ground down to the nerve and the root. Data of the conquest in the blood on the boot. Calibration of the bone, calibration of the stone. Measure the data in the marrow in the line, geometry of death on the horizontal line. Tear the tendons from the radius and ulna. Systems crash in the gates of Valhalla. Grey dawn night on the charcoal rib cage, final code written on the last iron page. Soot on the eyelids blocking the sight, thermal energy dissipates into the night. Smell of roasted meat where the fire line cracked. Calculation of the vow that the warriors kept. Nerves twitching cold in the dead muscle strand. Gravity pulling on the axe in the hand. Hard-coded fury in the neural flash. Kinetic energy on the broken wheel. Mass multiplied by the speed of the stroke. Oxygen burning in the lungs full of smoke. Vector is set where the blood meets the snow. Calibration complete, nowhere left to go. Calibration of the bone, calibration of the stone. Measure the data in the marrow and the line, geometry of death on the horizontal line. Tear the tendons from the radius and ulna. Systems crash in the gates of Valhalla. Grey dawn light on the smoking remains. Static in the vessels and the flow in the veins. Geometry of ruin in the ash and the soot. Fixed point data at the base of the foot.
Within the marrow deep, the data stream of rot is what the vultures keep. The broken rib is mapped by cold calibration. The nerve endings fail in this frozen station. The tendons snap like wires in a shorted grid. The marrow is the storage where the lies are hid. I scan the rub in flight for the faintest sign of carbonized remains on the slaughter line.
Of lurking its central pillar points to the sky.
The laws of physics state that traitors must die.
The frozen wasteland claims a broken oath code.
The blood is heating on the slaughtering road.
Untouched weight bonds melting into dark stars.
The oathbreaker falls underneath the flag.
The geometry of ash is a perfect square. The toxic smoke plume fills the freezing air. I calibrate the angle of the shattered jaw. This is the logic of the Otis law. No rebuilding here in the codifier. The skeleton is wired for the funeral pyre. The nerve system pulse is a dying trace of failure written on a burning face. A black Plymouth central pillar points to the sky.
The laws of physics state that traitors must die.
The frozen wasteland claims a broken oath code.
The blood is heating on the slaughtering road.
Untouched weight bonds melting into dark slag.
The oathbreaker falls underneath the flag. Written in the copper veins, locking up the broken chains. A femur snaps under the weight of the hate. The hard drive of his soul cannot find the gate. No warmth in the fist, no heat in the breath. Just a biometrics of an endless death.
We swear in blood, in blood, blood in blood, in blood.
The scapula is cracked by the head vice steel. The GRs of the world turn the slaughter wheel. I'm at the trajectory of the falling ash. The system crashes with the thunder flash. The optic nerve is fried by the glow and heat. The victim is a warning on the frozen street. No closure found in the binary void. The oathbreaker data is now destroyed.
Black-ended central pillar points to the sky.
The laws of physics state that traitors must die.
The frozen wasteland claims a broken oath code.
The blood is heating on the slaughtering road.
Untouched weight bonds melting into dark slag.
The oathbreaker falls underneath the flag.
Wasteland is the only judge.
The carbon in the walls will never budge.
The blackened pill lost and forever tall.
The data of the dead will watch us all. No warmth, no wind, no light. Just a black monument in the permafrost night.